Accessing peace. Existing without violence, with the ability to calmly resolve conflict. Downloading love. An overwhelming, deep, positive affection towards others. Activating liberty. Living your life as you see fit without infringing on the lives of others.
Welcome to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. Online at fppradio.com. I am your host, Darryl W. Perry, the Liberty Penguin, the Wombat, the uncut cocaine of libertarianism, and one that I had forgotten about until I went through my Facebook memories a few days ago and saw that someone described me as the friendliest anarchist you'll ever meet. And decided, you know what, I'm just going to sort of, start throwing that in with the descriptors. And yes, I realize it's been a while. It's been 2 weeks. 2 whole weeks since I've done an episode. Why? Well, because if you haven't listened in a while or you didn't catch the last episode, it's because I was in the White Mountains of New Hampshire for 9 days. That's right, 9 days. Got up on Friday the 16th. Got back into Keene yesterday, and yes, that's 9 days because you count the day that you got there and you count the day that you leave the mountains. So from a Friday to a Sunday, 9 days. And it was fun. I enjoyed myself, but at the same time, Pork Fest, which is the thing that I was there for a little over half the time, was a lot smaller than previous Pork Fest. Now, that's not to say that it wasn't still fun. I got to see some people that I've not seen in years. Some of them 2 years, others a little longer. And, I wish I would have been able to hang out with more people for a little bit longer than I did. But, yeah, it was fun. And I wound up getting to, again, seeing Lynn Ulbricht, who I've seen numerous times at various events, and she's just an absolutely wonderful woman. And I feel so bad for her, for all the things, the added stress that the United States government has put on her life, because her son, if you're not familiar with who Lynn Ulbricht is, she's the mother of Ross Ulbricht, who is the alleged and convicted of being Dread Pirate Roberts, the creator of the Silk Road online market. However, Ross and his family and his legal team say that, yes, that there were a couple of times where Ross was Dread Pirate Roberts, but he was not the only Dread Pirate Roberts. He created the site. He was arrested for having run the site. And there's even evidence that he's not the only Dread Pirate Roberts, because after Ross was incarcerated, after he was arrested, taken and placed inside a jail cell, someone logged into the Dread Pirate Roberts account on the Silk Road. Which means, yeah, there's more than one Dread Pirate Roberts. However, again, meeting and seeing Lynn again was just absolutely wonderful. I got to meet one of Ross's sisters, Callie, amazing woman, came all the way from Australia, and got to again see the lovely and intelligent and very talented Tatiana Moroz and a bunch of other people. I was even a guest on the ANCAP Barbershop, a special edition of the ANCAP Barbershop that I'm not sure when that's going to be posted, but when it is, I will definitely share that around. And you can listen. A couple of crazy rednecks from Huntsville, Alabama. Speaking of rednecks, got to see the Muslim redneck, Will Coley. Again, just great time seeing all of the wonderful people. Again, I wish I would have gotten to hang out with more of the people a little bit longer instead of just, randomly seeing people in passing. That said, today's kind of been a catch-up day for me for, going through, I think I had like 95 unread emails in my email folder this morning, and that's after, throughout the week going through and deleting some of them of, oh yeah, this is one that I don't need to read. Like eBay deals of the day. I don't read every single one of those. Every now and then I'll take a look, but like clean out the emails, catch up on work, do other things that need to be done. Speaking of things that need to be done, I've got 2 bags of I've got a suitcase plus a bag of laundry needs to get thrown in later. Need to go to the post office, or not the post office, but the private mailbox that I have, check my mail because it's been a week and a half since I've checked my mail. Errands and catch up is basically what today is. And I think that, I'm just going to officially declare the Monday after Porkfest as errands and catch up day. And yeah, I realize, I've had a couple of people say, oh yeah, there's here and there, I can tell you've got a bit of an accent where, like you don't say things, whatever. So errand, ERRAND, and catch up, which I'm intentionally saying like the, weird tomato smoothie thing, just because it sounds kind of funny. But, like when you catch up on things, like throw a football, you catch it, and then up as in the direction opposite of down. So with that in mind, let me jump into some of the articles that I have. I've got a couple about motivation. And I'm going to cover at least one of these, possibly 2. And speaking of, motivation, and again, I'll get into the article here in just a moment. And even though I was, not necessarily online a lot over the last week and a half, it was not by any definition a vacation. Yet certainly, I did have some time to relax, and I may have imbibed on some things here and there, but I was also working, not nonstop, but Wednesday through late Saturday, I was manning the LP booth mostly. I did have some help doing that, and got to get away, hear a couple of speeches, but it was one of those working vacations. And not to say that I'm not still motivated to work, but need to relax every now and then, right? Well, let's talk about motivation. Stay tuned. This is Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
Hey, this is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends radio show. I've been working with computer programmer Derek Slopey to create Fiend Phone. I'm using Fiend Phone right now to talk with and record one of my co-hosts in real time. Take it, Davi.
Hey, this is Davi Barker, and I'm 1,000 miles away from Michael, but we sound like we're in the same room.
We sure do, Davi. So, Davi, please tell the nice people more about Fiend Phone.
Fiend Phone is free, open-source software that opens up a global world of possibilities for collaborative, high-quality remote voice media production, and I'm digging it.
People can try the Windows beta version of Fiend Phone right now at fiendphone.com. But we're also raising money to vastly improve Fiend Phone and vastly improve independent talk media worldwide.
So go to fiendphone.com to help out. Who will build the audio roads? We will, with your help.
That's fiendphone.com. FEENPHONE.com. Foxtrot, Echo, Echo, November, phone.com.
Fiend Phone. I never knew remote audio could be this good.
This is Paige Peterson from Made Safe, and you're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry.
Welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. So why is it that every now and then we lose motivation? And you may have heard the term burnout. I know I've heard the term burnout, especially in, as it relates to political activists, to where, oh yeah, so-and-so, he's not doing anything anymore because he got burned out. Well, that's basically just a different way of saying this person lost motivation. Article from lifehack.org says, how often do we get started on a project full of enthusiasm, then slowly feel yourself losing motivation. The work that you used to look forward to starts to feel like a chore. You wonder why you're even bothering. You might even give up on the project altogether. Perhaps you take a new job that's full of challenges, but quickly you lose interest and hand in your notice. Maybe you started taking a hobby that you've always wanted to do, but you quit after a couple of weeks. If you're struggling with motivation, or maybe you feel a little burned out, you are not alone. And the article says, read to find out why you're not motivated. But you're not reading, you're listening. Although you could read, because the link, as always, will be in the show notes. Don't rely on quick fixes to get motivated. And that's one of the things, like a lot of people, they want quick fixes, especially in this, like everything now, instant gratification sort of society that we live in. But there's not quick fixes. There's not instant gratification. But there is a way to get your motivation back for good. We're talking about long-term fixes, not a short-term remedy like taking a break, listening to a motivational song, drinking an energy drink. While these strategies might work for a while, they're nowhere near as effective as finding long-lasting motivation. Do you want to struggle through each project, gritting your teeth and forcing yourself to get the work done? Or would you rather tap into endless motivation that doesn't feel like a huge effort? If you truly want to learn how to stay motivated, you need to understand what drives you and what you really don't care about. Now, how do you do that? Well, maybe you experience some common symptoms of lost motivation. Wondering if your motivation has taken a hit lately? See if any of these common symptoms sound familiar. You get bored in your routine. Maybe you get bored because you have a routine. Maybe you have a routine and you don't want a routine. Maybe things that are routine are boring. Some people like having routines. Some people like, planning every sort of, minute of their day of, I wake up at 7:15, I go to the bathroom, I'm in the bathroom for X number of minutes, grooming myself, brushing my teeth, combing my hair, doing this, doing that, blah, 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 blah. I eat breakfast at 7:45. I always have this. I get in the car at 8 o'clock to start driving, and then they want to plan every single minute of their day, and for them, that's good. But for other people, having that routine and everything scheduled out is boring and monotonous. Well, the article here asks the question, you tired of doing the same old thing day in and day out? Sick of your job or your big project or your schoolwork? Are you looking for ways to avoid what you're meant to be doing? Feeling sick and tired of whatever you're doing is a sign that your motivation is dwindling. Do you ever feel like you can't make a difference? That is another symptom of lost motivation. Maybe you started a project full of hope and enthusiasm, looking forward to changing the world with your contributions. If that feeling has left you and you feel like what you're doing is pointless or meaningless, it's time to act. Or maybe you're just not satisfied with anything that you've done. Are you a perfectionist? Trying to be perfect is a common cause of motivation loss because it just is not possible. Many of us are afraid to try new things or to complete projects, thinking, why bother? I know it won't even be good enough. Instead, we should focus on trying our best. And let me just sort of pause here to mention, I forget, and it's been a bunch of times that I've seen the post on Facebook, but I forget the exact wording of the quote from Mr. Rogers. Yeah, that Mr. Rogers, the friendly neighborhood guy, won't you be my neighbor? That guy. Where there's a picture, again, floats around on social media where it's screenshots from a really old episode of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, where he's drawing something and he makes a statement along the lines of, I like to draw. I'm not really good at it, but I do my best. And, I mentioned Ross Ulbricht earlier, and Tatiana Moroz and Ross's sister, Callie, organized a thing, Art for Ross, because Ross loves to draw. Ross loves art. I'm not an artist, but in my drunken state, as I was on Saturday, yes, I was drunk a couple of times at PorkFest. If you weren't there, you missed it. But anyway, in my drunken state on Saturday, I decided to draw PorkFest for Ross. And then I wrote him a letter on the back explaining that what I had drawn him was PorkFest. Because, again, the drawing wasn't that great. Like, you could tell, those are supposed to be mountains. The tent apparently looked like a rocket ship. So I had to explain to him, nope, it's a tent. And I enjoyed it. I had fun. And I would have had fun even if I were sober drawing Ross PorkFest. But the point is, I'm not an artist, but I did my best. You can do your best too. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just do what you can. Stay tuned. There's more here on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
Coinbase is a simple and secure online Bitcoin wallet for sending, receiving, and storing Bitcoin. Coinbase also allows you to buy and sell Bitcoin using a bank account or use their tools to accept Bitcoin as a merchant. Coinbase has more than 1 million consumer wallets and is trusted by over 25,000 merchants, including Overstock.com, Khan Academy, Reddit, and of course, FPP. Get started at coinbase.fppradio.com. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $1 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. That's fans.fppradio.com.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry.
Hey, welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. Online at fppradio.com. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spend-A-Bit in your arsenal. Spend-A-Bit is the search engine for things you can buy, you guessed it, with Bitcoin. Spend-A-Bit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Over 3 million items on their site the last time I looked. Keep your money in the free economy. Spend-A-Bit. Use my affiliate link, spendabit.fppradio.com. And if you're a Bitcoin-accepting merchant like I am, ask about their merchant suite to reach even more customers. That's spendabit.fppradio.com. Spendabit.fppradio.com. So what are some other ways that you can tell if you've lost your motivation? And, this next one doesn't necessarily apply only to lost motivation. This is something that a lot of people do, and you might still be motivated. Maybe you're motivated because you do this. Compare yourself to others. Maybe you think, we're the same age, but he's so much more successful than I am. This kind of comparison is a quick way to destroy your motivation for whatever you're doing. Stop trying to be better than others and focus on being the best version of yourself instead. Remember what I said about the don't have to be perfect? Just do the best you can. Yeah, just be the best version of yourself and stop comparing yourself to others. Now, that's not to say that you can't improve yourself. So if you're comparing yourself now to yourself a year ago, maybe you're doing that and instead of comparing yourself to others. So, like any kind of comparison can kill your motivation, but it can also be a form of motivation. Makes sense? Hopefully. Now, let's continue. Little do we know that there's 3 hidden motivation killers. So, we talked about the symptoms. Let's talk about the things that actually wind up killing motivation. And then we'll get into how to stay motivated. Motivation killer number 1, a lack of purpose. If you don't care about what you're doing, you will never be motivated. It's a fact. Find meaning in what you're doing, or change your focus to something you do care about. Setting unrealistic targets. Setting impossibly high goals and failing to reach them will make you want to give up fast. Instead, set achievable targets and enjoy the satisfaction of achieving many small goals. They soon add up. And let me give an example here, and it's one that I've given numerous times, and I did not come up with this, but I will certainly share it again and again. Let's say you wake up and you walk into your kitchen, realize kitchen is an absolute mess. The sink is full of dishes, the counter is dirty, the stove is dirty, and there's stuff all over the floor. And you think to yourself, I need to clean the kitchen, but I don't know where to start. So you turn around, walk away, and kitchen never gets done. Well, make smaller goals of I'm going to clean the stove. I'm going to clean the counters. I'm going to wash the dishes. I'm going to wash, sweep, and mop the floors. And then you've got several smaller goals you get done with each one. All right, hey, congratulations, I cleaned the stove. Congratulations, I cleaned the counters. Congratulations, I washed all the dishes, and then I swept and mopped the floor. So 1, 2, 3, 4 smaller goals, and the kitchen's clean. As opposed to you walk in, oh, this is a mess. Where do I begin? I'm done. Motivation killer number 3, trying to please everyone. It's impossible to make everybody happy all of the time. Focus on your purpose and do what you think is right. Don't try to change yourself to appeal to others. So, now that we know what the motivation killers are, we know what the symptoms are of a lack of motivation, how do we stay motivated? How? Well, luckily, the article here tells us how to stay motivated. They begin by asking the question, are you ready to learn the secrets to staying motivated for the rest of your life? Here's what you need to do in 4 simple steps. Aren't you glad it's only 4 instead of 12? A lot of these programs are 12 steps. You've got to take 12 steps. No, this is 4. Just 4 steps. Identify a clear purpose. Set measurable and achievable goals. Be ambitious. And after each of these, there's a brief little sentence, or in the case of one of them, couple sentences. Didn't read the ones for the first 2, but for be ambitious, don't set your goals too low. And this is something that I know I often do, and I know a lot of other people do as well. They set the goals not necessarily at a spot to where they're like, oh yeah, that's going to be easy, but just a little bit higher, and then, well, it's something that I know I can achieve. Well, let's talk about setting higher goals when we come back here on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at weusecoins.com. That's weusecoins.com. Why do they hate us? Is libertarianism compatible with Islam? Davi Barker answers these questions and more in Voluntary Islam and Other Essays. He advances the voluntarist cause with analysis of the confluence of values between Islam and libertarianism, as well as contemporary movements from the Tea Party to the Arab Spring. Voluntary Islam by Davi Barker is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com.
Welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. Be ambitious. I promise I'll finish reading the entire list of 4 things, but I want to expand on be ambitious. Don't set goals too low. Have faith in yourself and what you can achieve. So maybe you've decided that you want to run a 5K. And you've never run a 5K before. So you go online and you're like, all right, couch to 5K. And that's a thing. Just, use DuckDuckGo, Google, Yahoo, whatever search engine you want. Keep in mind that some of them protect your privacy and your search results a little better than others. But pull up couch to 5K. And you'll find various things of, like, oh yeah, day number 1, you run for a minute or 2 minutes. Or I forget exactly what it is, but I've looked at it before. And then maybe you've run 5Ks before, but you're like, you know what, I want to improve my time by 30 seconds. That's not really that big of a goal. Certainly, it's an improvement. And maybe it's part of a larger goal of you want to take 5 minutes off of your time. And I realize if you're really, really fast and you're already running like an 18-minute 5K, you're not going to be able to take 5 minutes off of your time. Maybe you are. Very likely not. But if you're running, say, a 30-minute 5K or a 40-minute 5K, 5 minutes off is a very achievable goal. And it seems like a large goal. And it's a lot larger than I want to take 30 seconds off. But let's just say, you know what? I'm going to run the New York City Marathon next year, which is a goal of mine. I've set that really, really high goal. I know I'll be able to achieve it, but it's not something that is going to be easy to achieve. Makes sense? So set goals really, really high to where you have to actually work to achieve the goal. And number 4, on ways to stay motivated 100% of the time, think beyond yourself. Motivation only lasts as long as you're focused solely, or as long as we are focused solely on ourselves. Think about your mission, or rather think about how your mission will help others, and you'll tap into a new well of motivation. This is how Elon Musk maintains his endless motivation. He believes he has a responsibility to the human race. There's more. Link will be in the show notes. And don't forget, every Friday I answer your questions. Send those over ama.fppradio.com.
The podcasts of FPP Radio are licensed under Copy Heart. We believe that copying is a form of flattery and do not abide by the copyright laws. Those laws serve to restrict the flow of ideas which no one can really own. Copying is an act of love. Love is not subject to law. If you enjoy the show, consider joining the Fans program and get perks like ad-free versions of Peace, Love, Liberty Radio and FPP Radio News, and also get a copy of the monthly newspaper FPP News. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com.